Hey folks, welcome back. So in the last video we discussed operators in Python. So in this video we talk about a Boolean data type. Let's get started. Before talking about Python Boolean data, let's talk about truthness of the statement. Let's say if we say any statement, let's say sun rises in the east, then it can be true or false. That means yes or no. So these two values we represent with true or false in Python. That we call it as Boolean data in Python. So we can evaluate any expression into one of these two values, true or false. Let's look at the code example here. So here we can see 10 greater than 9, which is true. Mathematically 10 greater than 9, that is true. And the next statement that we have, 10 equals to 9, so which is false. 10 is not equals to 9. So in the next statement we have 10 less than 9, it's also false. So here we are representing that with true and false. And so in Python we can evaluate any expression into Boolean value. So we can convert the string into Boolean value, and we can convert some different data types into Boolean data type. So let's look at the examples here. So here we are converting Boolean of hello. So Boolean is the Python function, a built-in function. We can use that function to convert the string to true or false form. That means like if it is an empty string, it is true, sorry, it is false. If it is non-empty string, then it is true. So we can see a different type conversion here. These are all type conversion. So we are converting none to bool, which boolean of none, which gives false, and boolean of false, and which gives false. Boolean of zero, so zero is nothing but false, one is true. Whatever the non-zero numbers, whatever the numbers are there, so we consider that as true, and we consider zero as false. And so here we have a empty string, we can say that's a false. And any empty, so here we have empty tuple and empty list and empty dictionary. So we can when we convert these values into Boolean, so these are all empty values are written as false, and other non-empty values written as true. So we can try that out in VS Code. Before that, let's go through these. So Boolean will return true for the below values, because these are all non-empty values. So that's why it returns true for these values. And we can use Boolean values to logical conclusion. So here let's look at this simple program. So this number here, we are taking number equals to 20, and then even equals to number percentile 2, which is equals to 0. So here we are comparing number percentile 2. So we first will calculate this, and then we compare that with 0. So when we do 20 modulus 2, which is 0, so here we have if condition and else condition. If is even, if is even value is true, and then here we are printing even, otherwise we are printing odd. So for this case number is 20, so we'll get even as output. And we can use the same Boolean values to write a program for age classifier. So we take input from the user, and we convert that into valid input or invalid input, infant, child, adult, based on the age given. So let's get started with the coding part. So in Python, we represent Boolean data with true or false. So let's define variables yes or no, and assign these Boolean values to yes and no to variables, and use print statement to print it. So these are the two values that we have, true and false. So let's print it. Before that, let's run the empty program, Python boolean.py. So we are getting nothing because we didn't have anything. So let's write equals to true and equals to false, print yes. Let's use one more print statement, print, and save it. And then so we can see that here we have true and false. Here we printed yes, and here we printed no. So it gave the two truth values. And we can convert the different Python types into Boolean data type. Let's take empty strings, empty. Let's convert. We can use Python's bool function to a built-in function to convert different data type into actual Boolean data type. Let's use that. Print bool of, let's take empty list and print it. We can comment out these two. So removing it. Let's run the program. So here we can see is false. Let's say if I have any values inside list, and then it will return true. So we have two values here, and when we run it, so it returns true. Similarly, same for tuple as well. So let me define tuple here. Tuple is one more built-in function which creates a new tuple, which creates an empty tuple. So when we run it, so it returns false. Let's say we have any values in here. We can also define tuple like this. So when we run it, like it returns true. So any non-empty, that returns true. Let's take for example, let's take a string, empty string, and when we run it, so it returns false because it is empty. Same, let's add my name here, and when we run it, here we can see true because that's a non-empty string. And similarly for dictionaries, let me define empty dict. So when I run it, so we can see a false. But if we have any values, let's say a1, and when we run it, it's non-empty, so it's returning true. So any non-empty value, it returns true. And when we convert number 0 to Boolean, it is false. Let's say if we give non-zero numbers, let's say 12, we run it, we get true. Let's say let's use on non-negative number. I mean, let's use negative number. So it returns true because it's non-zero. Any non-zero number, when we convert type conversion, that returns true. So it works same for other data types as well. So this part is done. Then remove it. Let's write a simple even or odd number program. Number equals to 11, and when we say number is even, it should be when we divide the number, we should get reminder 0. So how do we get reminder in Python? So we use modulus operator to get the reminder in Python. So let's use number modulus 2 equals to 0, and then print even, otherwise print odd. Let's use number as well, and number odd number. So let's run the program, clear it out. Then when I run it, so here we can see that it's an odd number. So let me change the number to 10 and run the program again. So here we are getting even number. So that's because, so here when we are calculating this part first and then comparing that with 0. So when we do this comparison operation, it always gives us the Boolean value, true or false. So let's do this in 2 steps. Let me move that. Let's say mod mp number, not mod, actually let's call it as reminder. So we are assigning the reminder in the comparison operation here, and let's use print type of comparison number, and let's use comparison number here. And when we run the program, so here we can see that it's a type of Boolean, and we got even number. That's because this is true. So this is how we use logical operations. Whenever we use logical operation, we use these true or false values. So that's how we write the even and odd number. Remove this. So now let's write the program to classify the age. So let's all the ages like 0 to 5 infant, and then 6 to 10 child, and then more than 10 adult. So may not be accurate, but let's use that information to write out. So let's take the input from the user for this. So age equals to input of enter age. So it always be string. So in order to work with numbers, we need to convert this into integer. So we use int function in Python, so which converts the string value to integer. So now we have the number age, and then now we need to convert this age number into I mean, we need to use this age number to classify the age. So if age is less than or equals to 0, and then print invalid age. So if age between age is greater than or equals to 0 and age is less than or equals to 5, and then we need to call it as infant. And if age is greater than, or we can directly use else, and then print adult. So let's run it on Boolean. So enter age, let's say 17, so we get adult, because so these two conditions are not satisfied. So when we compare age is less than 0, so it returns a Boolean value which is false. So let me enter minus 10. So it returns invalid age because the value is invalid. So this is satisfying because the age is minus 10. So minus 10 is less than 0, which is true, and then it is entering into the if block and then printing this. So that's how it works. Before using end or not keywords with Boolean data, let's go back to browser and look at end or and not Boolean, Boolean algebra tables. Let's type for end truth table. So let's go here. Good. So here we have a truth table for end or not. So let's ignore XOR table for now. So 0 means true, sorry, 0 means false, and 1 means true. So here A and B, and what is the this is the output. Y, we are representing output with Y. So when we do false false, which is false, when we apply end operation, so false and true, false, true and false, false, true and true, true. So when we do end operation, so it only gives the true as output when we have both truth values. So let's look at our truth table. So A and B both operands, and Y is the output. So 0 0 0, which means false false false, false true true, true false false, sorry, true, because here we are applying or a condition, so which means like either or, one of the values, one of the value must be true. So true and true, true. So this is how our table works. And when we coming to not table, so A and B, so when we apply not A, then it if it is 0 it returns true, sorry, if it is 0 it returns 1, if it is 1 it returns 0, which means if it is true it returns false, if it is false it returns true. So that's how these and or not table works. Let's go back to VS Code again and write out there. So let's remove this part. Print true, or let's use n for now. True and true. True, because both the values are true. Let's say true, false, true and false, false, false and true, false, false and false, false. So only when we have these two, both the left side and right side, both operands have true value, then only it gives true when we apply end on that. So let's try with our keyword. So end or not. These are the three keywords we use to for logical conclusions. So let's use true, false, true or false, true, false or true, true. So here we can see true, clear it out, and then false or false, false, and true or true. So when we have both true values also, we'll get true. And when we work with not, let's use not. So first we need to use not and then the Boolean value. Let's try with true. So not true, which means false. So here we can see the false. And let's try with not false. Then we get true. So this is how we use end or not, three keywords with Boolean values in Python. So that's it. So if you like this video, please do like, share, and subscribe to my channel.